Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel. I'm Nicholas and we are back. We've got 7. A few hours ago we have reacted to the newest music video, their first release now as an independent group without a company, at least. I don't know, are they now under a different company? I saw that Warner Bros. In some way involved. Doesn't matter. They've departed themselves from JYP and are now, after over 1 year, back on their own without that restriction, basically free of all the strings, and are now here with their first release under themselves, which is self-titled GOT7. And this mini album features 6 songs overall. Like mentioned, we have already checked out Na Na Na, a summer anthem, the title track of this album, and its music video. You can gladly check that out beforehand. Now we are moving over into the 5 B-sides of this album, which are Truth, Drive Me to the Moon, 2, Don't Care About Me, and Don't Leave Me Alone. And we'll be going through the track list and everything. I've not listened to a highlight medley before, so I'm going totally blind into this, as this is also now my first GOT7 album. And as mentioned already in the music video reaction as well, I'm aiming to be checking out their discography throughout the upcoming, probably not months, it will probably take longer than that. Like mentioned, I have so many artists on my list where I'm doing the same thing for, so it will take time, but we will be getting there, where we will then end up having checked out all their other songs, and that same goes for this old disc as well. For now though, we are focusing on the album here today. And the first B-side, like mentioned, is Truth. Big thank you to Zadi Farhani for giving us these lyric videos in just around 2 hours. Big thank you for that. And here's the thing now, there are songs, or like in every song there's actually involvement from one of the members. Now the thing is, we have Def and Ars credited, and I obviously did my homework beforehand. Def is the artist name for JB, while Ars is the artist name for Jungjae, which I think is Latin for art. That's pretty cool. So yeah, for the first song, JB worked on the lyrics and composed it. The other stuff doesn't matter. You know, we only care about the member involvement of this. Okay, so JB has his touch on this one. As mentioned, not have checked out any other of the albums beforehand. I've now only seen the title track, which was, like mentioned, a laid back summer chill vibe. I'm excited to see how the rest of the album will be like, how many different concepts we're going for, just how their group sound will now feel like on an entire album. So let's start the talking, and let's start reacting GOT7 and their newest mini album. GOT7, I think it's the 12th one, and the first B-side, Truth. Let's get to it. Let's go. I'm very excited. Oh-ho! Now that's a killer beat. Ooh, I'm digging this pacing. JB Jump kicking us off. I hope I pronounced the names correctly. Very smooth pre-chorus transition here. Very smooth and subtle transitions here. Like very short, on point first half. Taking the lengthy melodies here. A more calm pacing. Yeah, I'm digging this very simple but very engageable beats. Yeah, the verse picture is very engageable due to its bass. But then it transitions over to the pre-chorus, and then from the pre-chorus into the chorus, very chill. Like it just happened so, you know, such a small little jump. Makes us feel very connected. The engine sounds great in the chorus though. And then for the bridge. Ooh, look at that reader synth. I'm thinking the voice focus though. Ooh, this really works well for an intro. It's a good tone setter. And opening the line with an English lyric is also very good to sing along. And we add an outro. Excellent. Always one of my pet peeves. Ending the song on a good note. And we're doing that here with a lengthy outro. Okay. So, GOT7's Truth. This is like the best way to describe the song, especially given it's the first in the tracklist of the album. It's really a simple, on-point, 3-minute opener. Okay, it's really the type of song that isn't there to really flex. It's not the type of song that, like mentioned, really tries to like it's a very good medium of things, you know, like it's like mentioned, the title track is this lean back chill type of vibe, you know, the summer anthem sound and whatnot. Maybe later in the album there will be something more explosive, more faster, everything more energetic and everything. Truth has the great middle scheme of many things, because it has a very engageable beat with a cool more slower pacing, you know, with a bass that you can move yourself to, but it doesn't really, you know, makes you go higher, but just really energizes you, right? It's still more of a chill vibe without really being, like mentioned, this lean back flavor. It really has, like mentioned, this middle scheme of things. It has more of a vocal / voice focus throughout, you know, because like mentioned, the beat is a bit more simpler, features a very comfortable and not too loud sound elements. For the bridge, I mentioned, when Bam Bam had a section, we had, like mentioned, a cool little retro synth implemented it as well, which was a nice touch. But even that, you know, the verse picture and everything, which I mentioned, focus more on the voices itself. The pre-chorus transition and then even the chorus transition, they're all very subtle, very smooth. Like mentioned, there's a lack of tempo in this, right? It's not slow, but it's also not fast. Like at no point at all. Like but again, though, before we get over into that, we have a good intro to set the tone, and we have a lengthy outro to close it out. You know, it's like a very classic song right here, basically, when it comes to production. Very clean, you know, really intro to set the tone, good verses, smooth short pre-chorus, lengthy, like mentioned, more medium-paced melodic chorus, the bridge is cool and everything, and then that lengthy outro letting the beat fade out that way. It's a very clean classic song production right here. So Def / JB really, like mentioned, shows a safe opener. I think that's what you can really call it. It really works well as an intro to an album. It's like mentioned, not too fast, not too slow, just has a very good middle pacing to just really give a good tone. Okay, it's an excellent opener. Doesn't need to be much else, right? It's definitely not a highlight B-side that immediately blows your mind or anything. It's really just a very good, solid, on-point production straight away to give you a good glimpse of what you can expect quality-wise. Now again, though, let me get to the pre-chorus transition and everything. Like we really just use a very simple, short, basically, you know, to get over from the verse to the pre-chorus, and then obviously make it so noticeable that we are in the pre-chorus now by the sound and everything. But it's such a smooth transition that feels so seamless that, like mentioned, doesn't really have a build-up to it, nor is that moment right here anything that really spikes in the volume or whatnot. It's very subtle, very smoothly done. And we start a lot of the lyrics with an English line. So we have, like mentioned, this system where we have the ending and everything Korean, but the first line is mostly English, and that obviously for me as an international listener that likes to sing along the songs can sing along those few lyrics within the song, which is always cool. And same thing here, you know, the beat in the background for the pre-chorus remains the same all the way through, only here for the short transition moment with just a little bit of a sound change before we again move over into the chorus, right? There's no big do-do-do-do-do-do and then boom, hard drop or anything. We remain in linear, calm, good pacing and tone all the way through, which makes it a very, very solid opener. It's a solid B-side, right? Nothing too crazy, but just, like mentioned, just on point in its song production, everything. Intro, the smooth outro to fade us out. It's a very solid opening, okay? Very, very enjoyable first B-side. GOT7's Truth. Let's see how the second B-side will feel like, which is Drive Me to the Moon. Very, very cool title. This time around, Ars is credited, so Jungjae. Same for the composition. Boyto is included. The name tells me something when they're in G. I'm not sure. A lot of other credits in here as well, but like mentioned, I don't really care for the member credits, which is mentioned Ars, which is Jungjae. Or was it Jungjae or Jinjang? Let me, you know, before I once again do one mistake and then say it all the way through. It should be Jungjae, right? Yeah, Jungjae. Second B-side on GOT7's newest EP, GOT7, Drive Me to the Moon. Let's go to the moon. Let's drive there. Come on, let's go. Okay. Going sin. Their voices. I said it in a Reaction Friday. Oh, it's also pre-chorus right now, right? Also very soft and smooth transition. There's a tempo increase you usually see. Ooh. This is the funky dance song, huh? Very cohesive with the two previous songs. Oh wait, never mind, this comes after. Yeah, this comes after Truth. This high track comes after that. Oh, the whistling though! The whistling is always a nice touch. Really dig that Jin Young Bam Bam section here. Oh yeah, this has a great pacing. Yeah, but that whistling section might make this very, very catchy, because whistling always gets me. But again, I love the subtle pre-chorus transitions. And then for the second part, the very smooth tempo increase with the bass. I really dig this drop too. There's like no time wasted, you know. After the lyric of the pre-chorus ends, he basically already starts the lyric for the chorus. Keeps the tempo up. Ooh, this whistling is such a nice touch. Songs with whistling always get me, because everybody can whistle. This section with Jin Young Bam Bam and the whistling is excellent. Ooh, I think, okay, we're doing the bridge basically like the pre-chorus. Background vocals. Oh, but this is such a funky, feel-good dance song. As far as the album really is a more uplifting, cheerful tone. But this section is so cool. And the fact we're doing it 3 times. Ooh. Yeah, this song is a lot of fun. Okay. GOT7's Drive Me to the Moon. Ooh, this song is such a This is such a funky bop, okay? So if we now look at the album, we're now halfway through already, right? We kick off with Truth, very solid, classic intro to an album. You know, it just has a perfect middle ground of everything. And straight after that comes this song, which is a greatly paced, very funky, very danceable too, and enjoyable, fun song, right? It's just a fun time all the way through. You can move yourself to it, you can snap along, and like mentioned, this section in the chorus, the second part of it with Jin Young and Bam Bam with the whistling in the background. I mean, that's just so cool. It's just so enjoyable to sing along, because you can either sing along because the lyrics are fully English and therefore also very easy to do, or you just whistle alongside in the background and say it over and over, just like we had for the title with this you know, which everybody can do. Everybody can whistle, or at least, you know, I actually know there are people that actually can whistle, which is unfortunate. It's just one of those things that, you know, just some people can't, you know, like rolling your tongue like that and everything, just these little type of things. But like, I can whistle, and whistling is always something in songs that when it's implemented, it's usually always something so catchy to do. Like, just like a good example would be Entity U's Make-A-Wish, okay? You know, these whistling melodies in there implemented, they just melt into your brain, okay? They just drill themselves right in there, and that's the same case for Driving to the Moon. And the more you will listen to this, especially given that we actually have it 3 times in the song, you know, so it's a 2-sectional chorus done 3 times in full. You know, oftentimes we only have 2 full choruses, while one is like only the first half or anything. The fact that we actually do it here 3 times, you listen to the song twice or 3 times, you won't get the melody out of your head for a few days, okay? It's guaranteed. But the rest of the song too. Again, big fan of GOT7's vocal picture from everybody. The verses really, like mentioned, that have such a good pacing to it, you know, funky and just fun, and the voices really harmonize well with this type of sound. And again, the way we transition from the verse into the pre-chorus, so smooth, so subtle, you know. Like mentioned, we don't do these big cuts, basically, you know, like we obviously have a different sound, you know, like the sound itself changes, but we like don't really have a big, you know, cut off moment to make those changes happen, you know. It just so smoothly transitions over. Same for the drop here, where like mentioned, literally after the last line of the pre-chorus ends, the chorus basically kicks off already with a full lyric there. It just keeps the pacing up so much all the way through, without, like mentioned, having these cut-off moments or short little 1-second breaks or breathers or anything like that. It keeps the tempo alive 24/7 and really makes it such a now more energetic, fun, danceable song. Okay? And here also for the bridge, we actually do the pre-chorus just again. You know, the bridge in this case is basically just the pre-chorus for a 3rd time, and it totally works. You know, it's such a, once again, very well constructed, fun track that really makes the first half of this album. Okay, so because we now have the first half of this album, and we have Truth as a very medium paced, good opener to get you into the good tone, you know, to just already give you a good glimpse of what you're about to get. Then boom, Driving to the Moon comes on, fun, fast paced, very full, you know, like the melody from the chorus and the amount of lyrics in there also very full, right? Just very enjoyable. And then after that, we have the full switch into bright, cheerful, summer vibey, summer anthem with the na 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 oh type of lyrics in the chorus for everybody to sing along as well. Like these songs, especially now, Driving to the Moon and na na na, really offer everybody the chance to sing along and vibe along with the melody and rhythm of the song, and that's always great. Okay, thus far this album is really there to have a fun time. I think that's definitely the goal for now, right? Because like mentioned, I don't know if they like did more bad boyish, darkish, heavy concepts in the past, you know, like that's something you usually see a lot for these middle place groups nowadays, you know, the very darkish, heavy, and more aggressive type of hip-hop, rap type of release and so, which I also enjoy and everything. But as far, it's all about the vibes, it's all about the good times, it's all about chill. So yeah, good first half of GOT7's news EP, GOT7, which like mentioned also so cool because they get the rights to everything again. That the first release they do is called after themselves. It's such a powerful move. Okay, and now we are ready to move over to the 4th song on this album, the 3rd B-side, which is 2. And I mean, that could mean anything. Okay, 2, a number. What could 2 mean? Okay, 2 what? Yeah, us 2. Who knows? Let's find it out. third B-side, fourth song on GOT7. I think, is it the 12th mini? Yeah, 12th mini album, GOT7. And 11 mini albums. Maybe, I don't know how many albums they released. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this group in the future, I'm telling you. GOT7 Two. Oh. Okay, now maybe a bit more chill again. We have intros in every song thus far. Oh, wait. Who's on this one? Jagjeom actually wrote this. And composed. Filter opening. Interesting. It's such an atmospheric opening. Sounds great. Me every day. Me and my insomnia. Ooh, I think how the bass camp blazing out of here, where the vocal delivery remains calm. Ooh, I'm digging this theme. Ooh, I dig. Yeah, this contrast. They really remain in the chill tone, while the bass is actually quite heavy, even though it has this drown effect on it. Bam Bam's ad-libs, man. Ooh, but we actually don't have a pre-chorus really, right? We don't really have a classic pre-chorus this time around, which makes this blazing bass entry here for the chorus so cool. Also great to sing along. Ooh, this is such a dreamy song though. This song really has night vibes to it. Really digging the humming picture in the background as well throughout the song. The way we do these chorus kick-ins, man. Yeah, this is such a cool flavor. No outro this time for the video thing, but okay. Also such a different vibe. That's also something we can note already. Thus far, every single song goes for it, like it's very different from one another, right? Like we don't have any very similar concept, but like we don't copy paste the song right thus far. But it's always very cohesive. But two definitely stands out in a way because the thing is, thus far, especially the two previous songs, so Drive Me to the Moon and Na Na Na, like mentioned, were very fun and fast paced, and more about dancing and everything. While Truthful, like mentioned, was a more medium paced song and everything that was just like a very good middle scheme of things. Two is like the first feeling that I get after listening to the song is this is like the perfect type of vibe for the night. Okay, a perfect example I always use when trying to describe this sound, you know, the night sound basically, would be EXO Kai's first mini album, Kai. That album is like perfect for the night. It like has, like mentioned, these more dreamy, somewhat spacey electronic instrumentals that like really suit the darkness, that like really suit like, I don't know, you taking a night walk, or you driving home from work and it's dark outside, or maybe you just chilling on your bed while it's just night and you know your room is dark or whatnot. It just really has those feelings and the atmosphere to it that really feel like something that just fit the the mystery of the night. You know, you all know what I mean, right? Just things just hit different at night. You know, that's why you always say don't think about your life after 2 a.m. because you know it's just a different feeling and everything, right? You know what I mean. You know probably what I'm trying to tell you. Maybe you can relate to what I mean. And this song really has that energy and atmosphere to it, you know? The way we, like mentioned, build atmosphere for these first 15 seconds, you know, a very lengthy intro to set the tone. Because again, the previous two songs especially, fun, fast-paced, just very enjoyable, funky, dancey, summer vibey and everything. And after this, then we now we calm down, we go down, we chill, we zone out for a moment and go away from those high-paced, energetic type of songs. Cool down here for a more slower, atmospheric, and especially somewhat elegant song, because the delivery throughout this from everybody was very calm, very smooth, and just way lower. You know, way less energetic, really more of a whispery tone in some way even. You know. And what also is cool about this, like mentioned in between already, is that we don't really have a pre-chorus this time around, but instead, just boom, strengthen that bass when we move over into the chorus. It works so well, okay? It like came in so good. Like it's such a more chill vibe still. Boom! This space is ooh, and as I mentioned, the cool contrast because the voices, like mentioned, remain rather chill and calm in the delivery throughout. So you know, we had first no bass at all, then we already add a bass, and then we have like one short moment where we take the bass out, like let it fade a little bit, and then boom! That kicks so good. And again here, Jackson still has, like mentioned, more type of delivery, making a great contrast to that bass, which, like mentioned, actually hits heavy and feels actually quite loud, but only feels really that way because everything else is more quiet and lowered down in the volume, okay? Which is very cool. Generally, the dire humming and the background vocals, everything throughout this, it really is a night song, okay? It really is that night vibe, that dreamy vibe that really, like, gives you these night feelings. Again, it's hard to explain, but you 100% know what I mean, okay? Everybody has had these nights where they're, like, still awake at 2, 3 a.m. and everything just feels different, you know? So 2 really is a fresh song for the, like mentioned, for in comparison to the rest of the album. Or what means fresh, it just feels very different compared to these other songs, and I personally enjoy it, okay? The way the bass kicks in here especially is really good, and I generally feel like already that this entire album will feel just much better in just to listen through, okay? So where basically don't like take breaks afterwards and talk about everything, but instead just let the album be itself and just have it play without interruptions. I think that's generally where music hits the best, and albums generally hit the best, right? Not pausing in between and talking for 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, but just everything all the way through. And I think that's where this song especially will also hit better and better with every listen. Okay, GOT7's Two. That was a very cool switch up in sound. And we move over to our second to last song of the album, or a 4th B-side overall, which is Don't Care About Me, written by Jin Young and Jung. So I really like generally how we have already 4 different members involved here. You know, I think these 4 are generally the only ones that wrote on this. So I think the only ones that did not participate in the writing process / production process are Mark, Jackson, and Bam Bam, unless they're somehow included in Def and Rs or whatnot. But I don't think so. But yeah, that's still like very cool that on every single song there is member involvement present. Always cool. So yeah, Don't Care About Me. Let's see how the second to last song will feel like. Thus far we had, like mentioned, a more chill opener that like is neither like too slow or too fast or anything. Then boom, very funky, cheerful dance track, and then summer anthem, and now night vibey, dreamy type of slow, calm song. Okay, let's see. Next one will be GOT7's Don't Care About Me. Let's go. Another intro. Hell yeah. Interesting opening. with that voice. What else? Bam Bam and his ad-libs. I still gotta check out. I gotta check out his mini albums for sure, but ooh, this pre-chorus. Ooh. Oh, now such a loud and full picture here. Ooh, this is such a cool instrumental lyric chorus. The focus is on the instrumental, but we still have lyrics in there that hit cool. Ooh, I like how much with the variety we play around, the variety. Like, you know, this more little stringy type of feeling. This riff entrance for the pre-chorus is so cool. And the way we dance for the second section of this pre-chorus is do not take that. That's so cool. That's also great. The drop is within the line. Yeah? We don't have to drop as the line starts, but within. That's very cool. Okay, where's the bridge? Oh, we do that again. Like we had for... wait for jumping to the moon, yeah. Oh? Ooh! Got the leg! And obviously, that English line there is very good to sing along straight away. I do gotta say though, I'm not a fan of this style element. I gotta say that, unfortunately. That's why my reaction to this intro section was already like, oh, that's interesting, because I'm not a big fan. I don't know what the name for it is, but this very screechy, high-pitched electronic type of voice. I'm generally not too big of a fan of like voices that aren't actually the member voices, like put in there. Like we often have that with like very deep voices and all that kind of shit, you know. And he like mentioned it's the exact opposite. It's like a very screechy, high-pitched type of I don't know, robotic voice. What can you really call that? I'm sure there's a specific word for it. I'm sure there's a word for it, what this is supposed to be, like what you call that exactly. But I just unfortunately have to say I'm really not a too big fan of this type of style element, because it's just like mentioned, it's so high pitched and everything, and we have the lyrics here, right? Why would you have that weird type of voice say those lyrics? Why don't they have to be done by one of the members, or have everybody do it together? That's generally something we've rarely seen thus far. What I'm noticing, that beside the Jin Young and Bam Bam section in Drive Me to the Moon, they're really mostly solo focused on the members. You know, no group choruses or like more group sections, like especially SM boy groups do it, or just SM artists in general. Right, this is one of those SM trademarks. We don't really have that here. So yeah, that I unfortunately have to say, not a big fan of this element. Because it is a style, right? Just like all the tune is a style, just like so many other things is a style. And for me, I personally am not a too big fan of this type of style. Doesn't really matter who does it. It's just, I don't know, I'm just always like, let a member do it, right? Because why would you have the voice in there? Like, is there anybody out there that would be like, oh yes, that's what I needed. A high-pitched robotic voice saying that line right there. That's what we needed, right? That's what I wanted to hear right there. That no one ever, right? So I'm not a too big fan of this type of style implemented within songs, but shouldn't ruin the song at all, right? Shouldn't really, you know, be a big issue, but That's really, like mentioned, is a bit nitpicky for me here, but either way. We actually did something similar here like we did for Drive Me to the Moon, in the sense of we don't really have a bridge, but instead just do the pre-chorus another time. And the pre-chorus is really cool, you know, just generally the song is now, especially in comparison to very, very full and has a lot going on. You know, the tempo is a bit higher, the delivery is way stronger this time around. I was a big fan of Bam Bam Slow, especially. And the way we generally played a lot around with the diversity in the instrumental, many different sound elements. The chorus picture itself is very full, very wide. When you would look at the audio in the editing software and everything, you would see like a lot of things just below under each other, because there's just so much going on right there, which makes for such a full and exciting thing to listen to, right? Because you have so many different things you could focus on. You know. The way, again, very subtle transition from the verse to the pre-chorus, which is really cool. But the way we enter this short little riff right there, for the first time, like for the first blow in basically into the pre-chorus. But then, instead of doing that riff again after half, you know, for the second section of that line, we do this little soft electronic sound instead, which is such a cool touch. I don't know why. Instead of doing the same thing again, which is to a totally different opposition on that just really makes it stand out. And same thing here, we do, instead of like dropping the chorus, first drop the chorus and have the line start, then we start the line basically immediately after the pre-chorus ends and have the drop within the line. Right? Instead of doing like, you know, obviously it wouldn't work the way because it's written exactly for that, but doing this, you don't care about me, okay? Very cool. Always a fan of drops that happen within a line. That just always makes it feel even fuller, because the transition is just within a line instead of, you know, having a short breather moment like, you know, generally that's for something you can really tell about the production within this album thus far, or like what means as far we're close to the finish, how very interluded the songs are without really any too many breathers. We did have a breather in here because before the final pre-chorus, basically we had, like mentioned again, one of these weird little high-pitched voice sections there, which I've had a bit, you know, like mentioned, I'm just not a fan of that style element, so, you know, but yeah, to be finished. The chorus itself, though, like mentioned, very wide, full instrumental picture here. There, that me. So we have lyrics nonetheless, but the focus is obviously on the instrumental. But it's still cool to implement the lyrics instead of just having it be an instrumental chorus. So we have a full instrumental chorus with some lyrics added on top of that to just make it feel even fuller than it even would. Like, it already would have been very full as an instrumental chorus, but by just adding these little but still effective 2 lines in there, just makes the chorus feel much more exciting. You know, and like mentioned, verse picture is awesome. The flowing and the vocal delivery throughout it is really good. The pre-chorus, the way it kicks in, is very cool with the riff, and then the switch up in the second half of it with the high electronic sound instead of doing the riff again. It's still a cool song. Like mentioned, it will definitely leave a bad taste in my mouth. But again, I'm just not a fan of these type of these high-pitched voices. I don't know. Like mentioned, generally not a fan of these added voices, but like at least the deeper ones usually don't annoy me. You know, high-pitched sounds like these are, especially when you have like your not high-quality headphones in. You know, when you're like on your way to work or anything like that, then that's where it usually sounds like really not good, because your headphones just really can't process these very high-pitched sounds that easily. So that's, like mentioned, that's really my only big criticism point as far throughout this album, but it's just a personal preference. You know, maybe there are people out there that love this sound effect and this type of voice and will be like, oh my god, it's so cool and everything, right? For me, I'm just not a big fan of it, which just obviously affects the song for me a little bit, because the song opens that way and ends with it and has, like mentioned, a short interlude before the third pre-chorus. So, bit unfortunate that it isn't one of my things right there, but the rest of the song is still, it's kicking, okay? The verse picture is great. Pam's flow was once again very cool. Pre-chorus is awesome, and the chorus, very powerful. Love the transition and drop there too. GOT7's Don't Care About Me. besides the high-pitched voice in there, also very enjoyable. The quality throughout this has been really, really solid, and it feels very cohesive, okay? The album really feels cohesive, starting a bit more, you know, setting the tone well, then boom, a funky dance type of summer anthems, and then going more into the dreamy electronic direction. Really digging how they've cohesively built this album. Now let's see how we wrap up this thing with the sixth and final song, the fifth B-side, which is Don't Leave Me Alone. And that title definitely sounds a bit softer. Yeah, we haven't had a ballad yet on this album, and it's one of the most classic things to do within K-pop, at least from what I've always seen, to end an album, especially a mini album, with a ballad. And Def worked on this, which is, like mentioned, JB. He's the only member in this, otherwise Roy Dive and I Hwak are also involved in this. Let's wrap up this album, okay? Don't Leave Me Alone, like mentioned, sounds a bit more soft and more ballady. Let's see if this is the case. GOT7's final song on the 12th mini album, GOT7, Don't Leave Me Alone. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, that looks very long. Oh. But that's not very sound typical ballady, you know, no slow piano. That's it. But, ooh, lengthy intro again. Every song has a lengthy intro. Awesome. Always great. The intro was actually the sound picture already, okay? But this album is really split basically. Not a smooth pre-chorus transition. Ooh. Second section. Give it a drop. And we again drop within the line. They're really, that's such a cool element. Kick off your lines with the English. It's really good. Oh, yeah, but this also has the night vibes to it. It really feels like two cohesive single albums smashed together. I talk about it in the review a bit more. Oh, but this pre-chorus edition is so smooth. It's so the production is really clean throughout this. It like you really see the experience. When I'm doing the same pre-chorus too. This pre-chorus is excellent. Nice. The way we drown out the instrumental for a moment, where we have the Don't Leave Me and then boom, drop on the alone. Excellent. Very satisfying pre-chorus and chorus here. Ooh. It's more like an interlude here. I think the bridge will be a bit bigger. But I love this pretty synth here. Yeah. Oh, the vocal too though. Oh, I love how we had everybody in this bridge. Nice. Oh, that was a cool bridge. With literally every member there back to back. And then drop into the chorus again. That's very nice. Then we do this. Oh wait, actually never mind. We can consider this a second chorus actually, yeah. chorus. So we did the chorus first alone in the beginning, and now in full 2 times. Hey, and that's one of those songs that are 4 minutes long but really don't feel like it. But I just now noticed it. Alone itself is written as hollow, or hollow, you know, hello, just swapping the E and O. But then when you say don't leave me alone, that word is nowhere to be found. Man, am I glad that I have decided to not learn Korean, for one, because it just will make listening to K-pop songs much more easier, because otherwise it will be like trying to understand everything, you know. That's actually one of those things that K-pop songs are actually very cool for, because you don't really gotta focus on the lyrics to really feel it. But man, sometimes, you know, like, how does it make sense? Either way, doesn't matter. Okay, GOT7's Don't Leave Me Alone. It's the longest song on the album to wrap us up, and actually, I will talk about that, like mentioned, more in the full review section. Let's focus more on this song now, specifically before we get to that. It's a very satisfying song, you know, because again, lengthy intro to set the tone, which then actually ends up being already the sound picture, you know, because usually you do an intro and then switch up the sound when you start within the verse, at least most of the time. Didn't happen here, was like the exact same sound picture, okay? Pre-chorus transition, once again, very smooth, very cool. In this time around, we also have a lengthy pre-chorus. I think we majorly had like only one section for the pre-chorus before going into the chorus, because this is the longest song, you know. They really said, okay, let's make it 2-section pre-chorus, a very satisfying build-up with even tempo increase and everything in the bass for the second half. And then the transition is again just like we had in the song before that, and that we, instead of dropping with the start of the line, we drop within the line. Take out the instrumental out for a moment when we do the lyrics. Don't leave me alone, you know. Works really, really well. It's very, very satisfying. And the chorus again, it's really basically the same thing as the song before, but just here now in more fuller in sense of the lyrics, okay? The lyrics are fuller, the pre-chorus is fuller and longer and everything. We now this time around also have a second section for the chorus, and like we had it for the Charter as example, we had 2 sections and do it 3 times in full. This time around we only did the first half in the beginning and then did the 2 full parts with the second section here again. My personal highlight of the song though is the bridge, because it feels like such a satisfying closing finale to the song, because we actually have every single member back to back. JB into Jin Young, into Jackson, into Mark, into Jokjeom, into Bam Bam, back to Jungjae, back to JB, then we go back into Jin Young, okay? That's very cool, you know? It's just very cool to have a bridge where you have every voice of the group together, and it just really feels like a very satisfying finish to an album to me, okay? That's such a cool production touch to say, you know what? Everybody sings here, everybody gets the moment. It's such a cool, fulfilling, satisfying moment right there, okay? It just really, really works well for me. There's such a nice touch, a little detail there. And like mentioned, we have the full chorus and thing and everything again, in the way we then fade out with that. It's a very full, satisfying song. These really are the 2 best words to describe it: full and therefore satisfying, you know. We really, really went all out to make the lyric delivery and the vocal delivery feel very satisfying to listen to. 2-sectional pre-chorus, 2-sectional chorus, the bridge giving the spotlight to everybody. It's a very, very good choice to close out the album with. 4 minutes long, did not feel like it at all. It's such a nice, smooth ride all the way through. It makes for a good closure to, in my opinion, very cohesive album. And now what I try to say, right? It feels like 2 single albums mashed together, but in a way where it feels good, you know, not bad or anything. Because usually I'm the type of person that when it comes to mini albums says, because that's the only thing. For single albums, you usually have 2 or 3 songs, put in whatever you want, right? You can make it a cohesive single album, you know, have like a summer single album, whatnot, or winter single album with more ballady songs, you know, whatever. For a mini album, I'm usually, or like for an album, I'm the type of person that says, because usually I want a full album to be double-digit numbers, so at least 10 songs, you know. For 10 songs, I feel like you should definitely try to make it feel cohesive, because usually an album goes like 30 minutes plus or something like that, you know. I want that's usually you want to take your time for that, you know. Like albums are usually the type of thing that you listen to when you have the time for it. It's either while you're working here or like have a train ride in just a very long time, you know. It's something you don't just do in between. It's something you want to do when you have the time for it to really, you know, feel the entire album in one sitting, you know. That's how an album always feels the best, right? When you listen to it from start to finish without really any interruption or any break or anything. And that's where usually a cohesiveness should be there, to not really just have, you know, like 10 different sound element or like 10 different sound concepts, you know, going like completely varying the genres or anything, or the tempo or everything, like doing every single song completely different to one another, back to back to back to back. Like maybe exciting in some ways, but I feel like it's always better to like more like have just a cohesive feeling to it, right? Like let's say begins a bit faster, gets more medium paced, slower near the end. Like one of the most classic things, right? Start off very exciting and explosive, and then calm a bit down more, maybe go up again for a moment, and then, like I've mentioned, that ballad as the outro, so right? A lot of things go into that. Like so many albums are different in that sense, you know. But that's usually what I want from an album, because it's like mentioned, usually such a time investment. Now let's look at the exact length of this mini album, because I think it's actually a factor in this. But that's where I usually say for mini albums, just throw in whatever you want. You have 6 songs in this case, you know. Usually mini albums often are 4 to 5 songs or so. 6 is actually pretty big for a mini album, right? There I'm usually a person that says, hey, just do as much variety as you want. Just try to have as much diversity as possible. You have 6 songs, go for 6 entirely different concepts, right? Do rock, do ballad, do hip-hop, do EDM, do party, whatever. Do dance, funky, either way, you know? Try out as much as you want, right? Because mini albums, like mentioned, are like the exact middle, obviously, of single album and album. It's not that short, you know, because single albums are usually the type of things that I just add to a playlist. Mini albums is something you can always, on your way to work, listen to in one sitting on loop, or like just in one sitting, much easier, because it's just not as long as a full album most of the time, right? There it's like mentioned, oh, you have such a short time, do as much exciting things as you want. For this, we really said we have 2 halves. The first half, Truth, like mentioned, kicks off very, you know, it's a good intro song, you know, without like it's neither too loud or too slow or anything. There's a good medium pacing. And after that, we have 2 songs that are all about vibes, about having fun together, dancing, you know, party and everything, right? Like especially Jive Me to the Moon was a very funky dance song, and then Na Na Na, a summer anthem, which I think definitely works close together, right? Party song and summer anthem usually play in these type of playlists together, and these type of or like generally when it comes to summer and everything. But after that, the album takes a switch. The album takes a switch and remains in that. 2 totally slows things down, like mentioned, goes into this dreamy night vibe direction, which is like a totally opposite of both Na 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 and Drive Me to the Moon. Then after that comes Don't Care About Me, which, like mentioned, also remains in a more electronic section, or like more in this dreamy, more slower, what actually was a bit more fast paced this time around, but also remains in a similar sound direction. Very different still from the other 2 songs. And then we finish things up with Don't Leave Me Alone, which is the longest song of the album, which also goes more into this dreamy night direction again. So really, within the middle of this album, we made a little sound concept change, but stayed with that, you know. So we did basically a mini album that actually feels like a mini album, because it's actually cohesive, you know. So in this sense, mini album really is a mini album, because it is an album, because albums usually should be cohesive together, unless, like mentioned, it's a theme album, you know. Obviously when you listen to a rock band, obviously the entire album would be rock or anything, but usually that's the exciting thing about K-pop, the diversity in the sound and everything. But here for this, we really said first half will be more fun, more upbeat, more cheerful, more dancey. The second half will be more lean back, more dreamy, more just, always try to say it's not a bad thing, more background music type, you know. Especially Don't Drive Me to the Moon, or Drive Me to the Moon, and Na Na Na, very engageable, very sing-alongable, very maybe, you know, just to move yourself and everything. The second half really is more of something you don't need to focus on too much. You just have the music in the background more like that, and has its effect on you that way, where you don't really, you know, we just vibe like a little bit with it, but you don't like really go out there and like shout out and shout the lyrics out of your lungs like you do for the other songs, right? I think you're trying, or like I think you understand where I'm trying to go to. That we really said we take two approaches and mix those together. Where you could have either said, okay, we do that, add 3 more songs and then make it a cohesive lengthy album, or we could release these two separately as a single album, or like as single albums instead, and these 2 single albums will then, like mentioned, have their own vibe, right? Instead, we now, like mentioned, did it as a mini album, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that, because I think this will now, especially on real listens, on uninterrupted listens, sound and feel very, very satisfying. Because that's something I can really, really credit and appreciate and positively point out about the production of this entire album. Because especially, like I mentioned, every single song has a member involvement in the production included. Every single song is very, very satisfyingly produced. We have an intro on every song, which you don't always have, right? I'm always the type of person that hates nothing more than songs abruptly starting. Or like, you just had a song close out and then you're like a playlist and then boom, the song immediately kicks in, right? I want those 5 to 10 seconds to get into the mood, you know, to get into the tone, to get the switch and change, you know? Not every song on an outro, you know, some songs ended with the lyrics, but they just totally okay. But having an intro to every song is worth so much. Trust me, it's really worth a lot, you know, at least for me, you know, which I can appreciate it so much. But also the rest. The mixing was very clean, they sounded great, we still had a lot of tempo switches throughout this entire thing, you know. Some songs were very fast, some were more slower, some songs had more stronger vocal deliveries, some were more chill and calm and lean back, like mentioned. There was a lot of diversity in the way the members were presented, you know. They really, really highlighted the members well. They sound great, like mentioned. We had, like mentioned, these 2 more cohesive concepts with the 2 halves and everything. They really still were really for every member. You know, no member at one point felt like they really didn't deliver in this type of concept or range. Everybody felt satisfying to listen to. And not just that. With the intros and everything, we have great choruses. We have great pre-choruses, some short, some 2-sectioners, but generally every single song just feels very satisfying. There was no song in this where I'm like, hey, this feels like a rushed, unpolished song, you know? Like mentioned, the first song, especially Truth, like was mentioned, designed to be an intro, to set the tone, you know, to be neither too fast, nor too slow or anything, just have that perfect opening energy basically to an album, and everything afterwards has its very own sound, direction, and tempo and everything, and just really, really works well that way. And it's just so satisfying all the way through. Whether it's a full chorus, you know, with more fuller lyrics, or the ones to sing along, or the ones to, like mentioned, just enjoy more because they're more instrumental choruses where you, like mentioned, don't really need to focus on them too much. We still have chances to sing along and rap along and flow along, because we often start lines with English, which is always great because you then kick in that way, right? Often also works better maybe if you want it for the rhyme, you know, to use the English word for the rhyme, because you can also rhyme along and everything. But in this way, it works pretty well nonetheless. And I mean, you already see right here, you already hear my voice going out, because I'm spending now so much time talking about the entire album. That usually means that the album is just very, very well produced. I just have so many positive things to say about the album construction and itself, which is always an indicator for just being a very, very great album. You know, investing so much time afterwards to really go into detail, to really go into the appreciation for the craft we did here. And as mentioned, especially because we have member involvement in every single song, which is why I especially want to point it out so positively, this album is very satisfying, it's very full, only has really 2, like mentioned, sound areas we're walking into, you know, because like mentioned, we didn't go full out on 6 totally different songs, but we're really more like 2 cohesive halves, but it really works that way. I had a lot of fun and enjoyed this listen and go through now, but it will feel even better now just listening to it without interruptions, you know. Taking my time, you know, go for every song in single detail was already great, but this is definitely the type of album designed to be done in an enjoyable listen all the way through, you know. I feel like most of these songs, I think especially Drive Me to the Moon does really work as a playlist song, you know, that you add to your fun dance type of playlist. But otherwise, I feel like these albums really, or like these songs really work the most together back to back. It's really, the mini album is really designed and produced in a way where it feels the most satisfying to listen to if you listen to it from start to finish, uninterrupted, and just enjoy it for that way, you know. Obviously, you can shuffle it or like add them to playlists and everything, but I feel like all the songs this way are really cohesively produced together to make for such a satisfying album listen, and I can't wait to do exactly that. Cut this video off now soon and then just listen to the album uninterrupted and just enjoy the voices. They have great voices. I like mentioned, really love the vocal picture and how they sound together and on their own, you know, with the verses and everything. And I think this album highlighted everybody well. And like mentioned too, sound comes with areas we were walking into, but really did those well. The only thing on this album that I don't like are those high-pitched voices in the second to last B-side, but other than that, nothing to complain about, okay? Nothing to complain about. It's also, like mentioned, due to it being more of a cohesive album like this, it's definitely no album that has these highlight standout B-sides that make me go, you know, oh my god, one of the best B-sides of the year or anything. The album really works best together, which still is a good thing, okay? There's no B-side that makes me go, oh my god, one of the best pieces of the year, blah 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 type of reaction. But they still cohesively now afterwards make me go, wow, this album is great and I can't wait to re-listen to it without breaks. And that's a very good thing to achieve. And with that, after now having reached over 1 hour already, not even knowing how many people would now still listen to me and my cracked up voice, I can say very satisfied with this first impression. Makes me really excited to check out more of them down the road. I had a lot of fun with this. I enjoyed this a lot, and how you guys enjoyed my reaction plus detailed review. If you did, gladly leave a like down below to show me that you did. What are your thoughts on GOT7's 12th mini album, GOT7? Do you agree with my points? Which song is your favorite? What was your highlight of the album? Your favorite chorus, pre-chorus, blah blah blah. Tell me all about it down below in the comments as well. And as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, if you want to support me, then you can gladly leave a sub as well, or support my Patreon, or give me a thanks here on YouTube. It would help me a lot. And as mentioned, we have so much more GOT7 to look forward to. So many music videos, albums, solo stuff, and so much more. Live performances, who knows? We have everything to look forward to, right? We've just started basically with the comeback today and just one video of every other member. So much more GOT7 to look forward to. So much more K-pop content to look forward to. So for whatever content you may be interested in, for whatever content you want to check in for, I'll see you again soon on this channel. Stay safe, and happy. Have a great time. Have a great start into your new week. Have a lot of fun re-listening to this album. And see you again soon with more GOT7 and other K-pop reactions. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my review. I appreciate it a lot.